On a calm September morning in 1922, two bodies were discovered beneath a crab apple tree in New Jersey. They were posed, deliberately, eerily, side by side. What followed was not just a murder investigation, but one of the most sensational scandals in American history, involving adultery, religion, and courtroom drama. The Hall Mills murder case wasn't just a crime, it was a cultural phenomenon. When a minister and his lover were found murdered and staged grotesquely in a field, America couldn't look away. The affair that ended in blood became the country's first true tabloid spectacle. But the question remains, who killed them? A murder scene made for headlines. On September 16, 1922, the quiet of Somerset County, New Jersey, was shattered by a gruesome discovery. A local couple walking through a farm near the outskirts of New Brunswick stumbled upon two corpses beneath a crabapple tree. The man was later identified as Reverend Edward Wheeler Hall, a 41-year-old Episcopal priest. Lying next to him was Eleanor Reinhardt Mills, 34, a member of the church choir and wife of the church's sexton. The scene was macabre and calculated. Both bodies were neatly arranged. Hall's calling card was placed at his feet, and pages torn from a hymnal were scattered around them. Eleanor's throat had been slit so deeply that her head was nearly severed from her body. She had been shot 3 times. Hall had been shot once in the head. The bodies had clearly been posed, their limbs arranged to make it appear as if they were lovingly entwined in death. It wasn't a random crime. It was symbolic and sinister. The local police, overwhelmed and unprepared for the scale of the investigation, quickly found themselves out of their depth. As news of the murders spread, crowds descended on the scene. Curiosity seekers trampled through the field, stealing fragments of evidence and destroying what little remained. The press arrived, and with it, the beginning of a tabloid frenzy that would grip the nation for the next 4 years. A love affair in plain sight. Reverend Hall and Eleanor Mills were both married to other people, but their affair was an open secret in their church community. Eleanor, known for her emotional poetry and public displays of affection toward Hall, had long drawn whispers. Hall, meanwhile, was more reserved but no less invested. Letters found near their bodies, some addressed in Eleanor's handwriting, confirmed the affair in vivid detail. She wrote of their meetings, her desire to leave her husband, and even hinted that she feared for her life. Despite their clear emotional attachment, both lovers seemed trapped, unable or unwilling to fully abandon their families. Hall was married to Frances Stevens Hall, a woman of wealth and influence from a powerful New Brunswick family. Eleanor, on the other hand, lived in relative poverty with her husband, James Mills, and their 2 children. The disparity in status between the couples would prove to be a central tension in the case. Frances Hall and the circle of suspicion. Suspicion quickly fell on Frances Hall and her 2 brothers, Henry and Willie Stevens. The motive seemed obvious: jealousy, betrayal, and the desire to preserve the family's reputation. Frances had been known to disapprove of her husband's behavior, though she insisted their marriage was harmonious. Willie, described by some as mentally unstable and eccentric, became a focal point of the investigation. He had a fascination with guns and often spoke in cryptic, poetic phrases. Henry was more reserved, a businessman with a quiet demeanor. All 3 were alleged to have been at the family estate the night of the murder, but timelines were vague, and alibis shifted. Still, for the first 4 years, no charges were filed. The Pig Woman testimony. In 1926, the case was revived, largely thanks to pressure from sensationalist newspapers and growing public outrage over the lack of resolution. Authorities brought forth a new, unexpected witness, Jane Gibson, a pig farmer who lived near the scene of the crime. She claimed to have witnessed the murder from her horse late that night. Gibson, quickly dubbed the Pig Woman by the press, testified that she saw 4 figures in the orchard and heard arguing, followed by gunshots. She said she saw a woman scream and run, and then someone shouted, "That's what you get." Her testimony, filled with dramatic flair and inconsistencies, was both ridiculed and revered. During the trial, she was wheeled into the courtroom on a hospital bed to testify, an unforgettable moment in legal history. Yet her account was riddled with contradictions, and her credibility took a hit when her own mother publicly denounced her as a liar. Defense attorneys pounced on her weaknesses, portraying her as an unreliable witness caught up in a fantasy, or worse, manipulated by prosecutors desperate for a conviction. The trial of the century. In late 1926, Frances Hall and her brother stood trial for the sensational Hall Mills murders, captivating the nation. The courtroom overflowed daily with reporters and onlookers as the media shaped public opinion. The prosecution's case leaned on circumstantial evidence and Jane Gibson's theatrical testimony, while the defense countered with solid alibis and a lack of physical proof. The Hall family's lawyers discredited Eleanor Mills, portraying her as delusional. After weeks of drama, the jury acquitted all three. Shock followed. The wealthy walked free, and justice seemed elusive. The case remained clouded in mystery, with lingering questions and theories about cover-ups, church scandals, or even Eleanor's husband. Decades on, the Hall Mills case continues to provoke debate, suspicion, and fascination. The media's role, crime as spectacle. The Hall Mills case marked a turning point in American media. For the first time, a murder trial became mass entertainment. Newspapers competed for the most lurid headlines and the juiciest details. Journalists didn't just report the news. They shaped the narrative. Reporters interviewed neighbors, speculated on motives, and even fabricated details to maintain public interest. As one historian put it, this wasn't journalism, it was theater. And America, hungry for distraction in the early post-war years, was happy to watch. In many ways, Hall Mills laid the blueprint for future cases like the Lineberg baby kidnapping, the O.J. Simpson trial, and modern true crime documentaries. It blurred the line between tragedy and spectacle, and perhaps influenced the course of justice itself. Legacy, a mystery that won't die. Today, the Hall Mills murders remain officially unsolved. No new evidence has emerged, and the primary figures are long dead. Yet the case continues to appear in books, podcasts, and lectures as a study in media ethics, justice, and unsolved crime. Historical researchers still delve into old case files and newspaper clippings, hoping to find something everyone else missed. Meanwhile, the orchard where the bodies were found has been paved over, transformed into suburban sprawl. But the shadows of that autumn night in 1922 still linger. Two lovers died beneath a tree. Their passion became their undoing, and their death birthed a modern obsession. Was justice truly served, or buried alongside them? Could forensic science today crack a case lost to time? And what secrets still lie hidden in the love letters of the Hall Mills affair?